which is being organized by International Indology Education and Research Institute. The head office of this institute is in Chandigarh, and this institute has been organizing so many events in offline mode and online mode. In collaboration of this Department of Commerce, Chaudhary Devilal University, Sirsa, being the chairperson of this department, it is the fourth one seminar which we have been organizing, and different August speakers are there. They speak as well as they share their views with different modes and on different topics. In the sequence of that, or in this series, today, August 8, 2021, I welcome you all on the behalf of International Indology Education and Research Institute. Professor Bina Aubrey, moderator, is with us. For some time, she is not available due to her engagement or the other assignment. Not more taking much more time, I just invite Professor Harjinder Singh Rose, Pro Vice Chancellor, to share his views on this topic and to motivate us to organize such kind of the events. As we all know, today's lead speaker will be Dr. Arvinda Bhandari, who will speak after Professor Harjinder Singh Rose, and the another speaker will be Chief Advisor IIERIC, Dr. DP Singh, Director University Group of Institutions. Then I will invite Professor BB Goel, and the another speakers will be continued later on. I will request you all that you have to mute your mic so that we can learn, we can listen, we can carefully watch everything which is going on the screen. With these words, I welcome you all in this August webinar. The topic is strategic management, application of strategy, resource-based view in the Mahabharata. Professor Harjinder Singh Rose, please.
Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Good evening, everybody. It's a matter of great pleasure to join every time in a seminar or in a webinar organized by the International Indology Education and Research Institute. Now, this topic on Mahabharata regarding the strategic resource-based application. This is something very interesting, though I'm not, very expert in this. But as far as this epic Mahabharata is concerned, there are so many characters which have been performing their duty from time to time in a given group of or in a given set of circumstances. And basically, this Mahabharata, that is to illustrate the law of karma and the law of consequences as to what happens in all different events, one after the other, and how you can relate it to the law of karmas. Now, whether somebody believes in the law of karma or not, but it is almost a uniform acceptance as far as our mythology, our way of religious thinking is concerned. We believe in the theory of karmas. Okay, this is what is there in the karmas. So, in view of that, you see whether it is a implementation or illustration of the law of karmas or the law of consequence events. So, with two, you see these, I think, keywords. I will request the keynote lead speaker, to express his views so that we can discuss it, subsequently, rather than, as a layman, I should speak too much on this topic. But I'll be great, my pleasure to listen to the lead speaker and other, leading speakers. Lead speaker, I think could speak on this topic. Thank you.
Okay, sir, for these opening remarks on this webinar, I just invite Our lead speaker of this event, Associate Professor Dr. Arvinda Bhandari, Presidency University of Bangalore. Professor Arvinda Bhandari, please. Mic is to you.
Yes, good afternoon to all of you. Sir, will you allow me to present
Yeah,
my
yeah.
PPT?
Yes, why
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
You can share.
Yes, sir, I can now, I can share it.
Yes, visible.
Yes, sir, just wait for a minute.
All army officers, namaskar. General Amarjit Singh, General SS Nair,
Namaskar, sir.
and VG Matthew, please.
Uh, Dr. Kundu, sir, it
Yes,
is
sir.
visible to all. PPT is
Yes,
visible to all of you?
yeah, visible. Dr. Ravinda
Okay,
Bhandari, please. Yeah.
yeah. So I'll be putting it in this particular mode so that it will be easy. Okay, good evening to all of you, Dr. Kundu, Dr.
I
Kapil,
request
sir.
you, Dr. Ravinda Bhandari, please, so that this
Yes,
screen will not disturb you, please click on hide. I
height,
think,
okay.
okay. Now
I
you will,
put it high.
yeah.
Okay. So, good evening to all of the esteemed, yeah, the dignitaries, Dr. Kundu, Dr. Kapil sir, Professor Beena madam, Dr. DP Singh, and Dr. HS Rose sir. Okay, I'm very fortunate enough that you have given me an opportunity to express my view regarding the resource-based view in Mahabharata. This particular thing by me, and it is my own opinion. Okay, this is totally my opinion, and because I am teaching this particular subject, especially for the strategic management last 20 years. So, and when sir has discussed, that's okay. I have to give the topic discussions on the Mahabharata. Then I select why not to select this particular topic. So thank you so much, everyone. Okay. So now, what will be my flow of discussions? In another maybe the 35 minutes, I'll be discussing the historical, okay, this particular topic in a different subtopic like the historical background of the Mahabharata. We know it very well. I'm not going to give you the most emphasis on this particular point. I'll be discussing who was the team player because it is the strategy where I have to discuss about who is the team player in cases to the Mahabharata war. I also have to discuss that's okay. What is the rule of the ethical conduct? Okay, it was there in the Mahabharata. The fourth one, the advanced word technique. What was the technique it has been used in the Mahabharata? The fifth one, the device summary of the word. The sixth is the result of the word. Seventh is the RBV. That is the most of this is the okay. I'll be giving a more emphasis on the RBV that is called the resource-based view. Who has given how it is applicable to Mahabharata, and how we can explain the whole episode of the Mahabharata based on this particular RBV, the resource-based view. Then I'll be discussing, okay, the competitive advantage because if you are talking about the strategy or strategic management, end of the day, you have to discuss that's how the competitive advantage you can get, whether it is a Mahabharata, whether it is a war, or whether it is any simple organization, their activities in the industry. The ninth one I'll be discussing about the analysis, and the 10th point, obviously I'll be discussing what is the learning out of this. Okay, learning, that means what is the managerial learning or what is the corporate learning, so that whatever it has been used in the Mahabharata, what is the learning out of this, and what the organizations they should follow that, or they should learn the things and they can apply in their day-to-day life. So this is the follow-up discussions, okay, flow of discussions. That's the 10 point. The first point, background, okay, we know it. I'll be requesting all of you please mute it.
Muted, sir. Muted, sir. भंडारी जी अनम्यूट कीजिए प्लीज. भंडारी जी आवाज नहीं आ रही. Professor Abhinda Bhandari, please unmute yourself. Okay.
Now,
yeah, audible.
Okay, okay,
yeah.
Sir. I'm sorry. Hopefully, you have, okay, the flow of discussions, it will be like 10. I think you have the 10 points. I'll be discussing. The first one is the historical background. The second one is the who is the team player. The third one is the rule of the ethical conduct. The fourth point I'll be discussing of the advanced war techniques, what has been used, how it has been used. Fifth point is the day-wise summary. The sixth point I'll be discussing of the result of the Mahabharata. I'll be giving a more importance to the RBV because that is the central point or central themes. Eighth number point I'll be discussing about the competitive advantage, because when you will be discussing about the strategy, okay, the end of the day, whether it is organizations, whether it is a war or whether it is a Mahabharata, everybody has to talk about the competitive advantage, how they are getting it. And not only the competitive advantage, people are talking about the sustainable competitive advantage today. And the ninth point, we are analyzing these particular situations on how it is going to relate with the RBB. And the 10th point, obviously it is a managerial learning, managerial discussions on managerial learning, or the managers, what they learn, what they'll be learning from the Mahabharata. Or 10th point, I'll be discussing of the corporate learning. Okay, whether it is because nowadays the strategic management, it is not applicable to the big organizations. It can be applied to the any organizations, whether it is a education institutions, whether it is you can say small organizations, because they belongs to industry. Okay, so that would be my flow of discussions today. Okay, let me give me the permission to start the discussions. The background you might be knowing, I'll be not giving too much of importance to discuss this. What is the background of the Mahabharata and how this particular two parties they divided. The two parties, one is the Pandav and the second was the Kaurav. Okay, you can see that's okay. The Pandavas, they having they don't have, because the last 13 years, okay, they are out of from the kingdoms, and the strength thing is the political and the financial point. The power depends on the friends and the relative. They don't have the financial support. They don't having the too much of resource in their hand. On the other hand, the Kauravas, okay, they are the supreme here. They are the supreme here, okay, and they having the kingdom. You having a Duryodhan who is a king over there. So two parties divided. Okay, I'm not going to discuss why they have divided, but ultimately the thing is that two parties, the Pandav and the Kauravas. Okay, if you analyze the armies from the armies, I am using the word for the armies because it is a part of strategic management. You can see this is the commander. You can see the king or the princess in the left hand side. They belongs to which particular kingdom, and and another things, they having a different type of resources actually. So they having 11 Aksahonim in cases of the Kauravas. If you analyze the army of the Pandavas, they are having only 7 Aksahonis. Okay, and this is the kingdom, and this is the commander from the Pandavas. I should explain this. What is the Lakshohani? Lakshohani is one Lakshohani is equal to 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 65,610 horses, 1,09,350 foot soldiers. So if you analyze this particular thing, ratio, it will be the 1:1:3:5. So this particular troop, you can use the particular troop, okay, is called the Akshohoni. So as per the Kauravas is concerned, they having a 11 Akshohonis and the Pandavas 7. Now anybody can realize or anybody can conclude, okay, if you are having a more muscle power, if you have a more muscle power, you are having a more resources, or you are having a more troops, they are winning the game, okay. But you know, the situations, it was a different. It was a different, and okay, it is so. That is the reason this particular topic has come in my mind. That's what is the reason for the winning this particular game. Okay, here I am talking about the rule of the ethical conduct. So when there is a this particular word, I am using the word called word. There is a 14th rule. 14th rule was there. What is the rule? Okay, that's rule number 1 is fighting must begin no earlier than the sunrise and end exactly at sunset. So that is the number 1. Or you can say this is the ethical conduct of the war. Yes, everybody has to follow. Whosoever will be the member of the, whosoever will be fighting for this particular war, everybody has to follow this particular rule. So the first one is must begin no earlier than the sunrise and the end exactly at the sunset. Okay, no more than one warrior may attack a single warrior. That is why another point or ethical conducts, because if you are unethical in cases of the war, okay, now it will be very difficult for anybody to judge who is winning and who is not winning. And you are seeing that's what is happening across the world nowadays. Nobody having the clue what is happening. Okay, so that is the reason ethical conduct is very important. I'm not going to discuss this ethical conduct. Okay, so there is a 14th rule, and you might be knowing that this particular war, it was for okay. Now in this particular situations in cases of the Mahabharata, many things have been used, many things. That means advanced war techniques. Most probably nowadays also we are not knowing this particular things. We are fighting for the virus, we are fighting for the some of the pathogens on all those things nowadays. But think of situations. I was going through a particular article, it was talking about the more than 5,000 years back. 5,000 years back, this particular war technique, it was being used. And okay, this particular war technique, it has been used in the Mahabharata. Most probably India is the one country which have shown this particular strategy applications on the world. I think many people are there in this particular webinar who are having experience in the military or having a air force. They can teach, they can give them more explanations. Okay, this particular things, it has been used in the Mahabharata. Here, this particular technique, what was that? You can enter the opponent party. They having this particular things, having only one exit and entry points. So that's if the opponent party is entering in this particular chakra view, it's called chakra view. So he cannot come out from this particular particular wall. It is a very difficult. It is a very difficult. That's okay. If you are entering on this chakra view, you will be coming to. It is a technique. How? Because it is having only one door from by which you can come and you can enter. The moment you are entering it, you are gone. Okay, you are gone. You know the cases of Avibundu. You know the cases of the Avibundu. So here they have used the various word techniques. Okay, this is called chakra views. Okay, it's having a different type of views. Like you having you can see this is called the left one. It is called galaxy of views. Okay, the next one, see this, the Arjuna is the middle. Okay, you also having a Satyaki, you having a Ghatakot. So it is called the linear or this type of chakra view. Okay, so half circle chakra view, it is half circle chakra view. So when somebody is going to attack you with the galaxy of views, okay, chakra views, you can attack them with this particular type of chakra views. So this particular techniques nowadays, I think in the military science also, they are using this. They are definitely they are using this. So India is the pioneer on this particular cases. Less number of us we are knowing this. So it is not only this Chakravyuhs or the different war techniques they have used. Okay, this is the weapons, different weapons they have used. Like Agni Astra is one of the weapons. You might be knowing, Varun Astra is one of the weapons. The second was the Nagastra, Nagparastra. So many of the weapons they have used. Because this is not only the chapter views or the war techniques, they was very much equipped with the different weapons, like the some of the weapons I have given. It is because of the time constraint, I'm not discussing this particular things, what are the weapons are, but you come to know, you will be coming to know that's okay. The chapter with different modern, you can say the modern weapons and as well as the war technique they used to use in this particular cases, okay, in this particular war. And it was a 14 days war, okay. Now this is a day-wise summary. This is a day-wise summary of this Mahabharata war, okay. Because the day-wise, you can see the Pandavas suffer heavy losses. Second day, the great losses of the Kaurava army, use of the different weapons. The Bhishma advised Duryodhana to seek peace. Bhima, the rescue of the Satyaki and all those things. So this is a 14 days, the journey. 14 days. And it was, I was reading in the today morning, that's in this particular war in 14 days, there is a 4 into 10 lakhs. It is a 40 lakhs of the people. They lost their life, 40 lakhs of the people. Yes, that was mentioned in one of the literature, 40 lakhs of the people. So you can easily imagine that's what was the situations, 40 lakhs of people in 14 days. Now, these two parties, when the Kaurav and the Pandavas, they are fighting each other's, and you know the situations, you know the situations, and you know the result. Okay, the result. What is the result? And this is the after particular 14 days, only 12 people they survived in the Mahabharata war. Who was there? The 5 Pandavas, the son of the the 5 Pandavas, then Satyaki, Krishna, the Lord Krishna himself, Yudhishthira, then Kripacharya, and Visketu. This particular 12 people, they survived themselves. Okay, they survived themselves, and the after 14 days, the Mahabharata it was end. Now my question is, okay, how it was possible? How it was possible by a troop or a group of soldiers who are having a less weapon, a less soldier, but they win the game. How it is possible? It is okay. I was trying to find out last 7 days. I was trying to find out that what could be the reason, how it is possible. Because everybody will be coming to know that okay, if you are having a more muscle power, you will be winning the game. You will be winning the game, and you having a more financial power, you will be winning the game. Nowhere, and that is the reason nowadays you can see the country where this particular war. Nobody across the world, nobody has a guts to talk against those particular country. It is, we can see in nowadays. Now, I was thinking how we can explain this particular episode with a particular theories. This particular theory is called the resource-based view. Resource-based view, it was given by the J. Burney in 1991. And this particular article, it has been published in Journal of Management, volume number 17, and the number 1, in the page number of 99 to 120. So this particular resource-based view is talking about that if you want to win the game, or the competitions, I'm using repeatedly this particular word called the game, you have to use your resource very judiciously. Very judiciously, that means maybe your competitors is very, very strong in the resources, but if they don't have abilities to convert these resources to the opportunities, so that means there is an opportunity. Yes, there is an opportunity in the external environments. You can divide your organizations into two ways. The first one is called the external environment, and the second one is the internal. How you have to know this, how the strategy can be built. The first one is you have to do an analysis. What analysis? You have to do an analysis of your external environment. So from external environment, you'll be getting the opportunity and the threats. Your competitors, they are in the external environment, as well as you also having the internal environments of the organization. What is that? Internal environments, this is the combinations of your different resources. It is a different resources, maybe the physical resource, human capitals, you have a financial resource, all those things. Now, the moments you are able to find out the opportunity in the external environments, you have to find out, you have to also do analysis. This, okay, how I will be using, which particular resources I will be I can, okay, I'll be convert this particular opportunity to, and I'll be playing a right strategy to grab this particular opportunity. And that is the reason the Barney, he talk about you have to do I think you are able to see this is the external analysis and the internal analysis. External analysis, opportunity and threat, obviously it will be coming. Internal analysis, strength and weakness, it's come from the your strength, okay, and you have to know this, what is your strength of your organizations, okay, and you have to encase the opportunity with your strength. And another thing's also possibility is there, what he's talk about the Burnett, that's you may have a different resources, but whether you having a capabilities to convert these resources to fulfill the opportunity which is there in the external environments. Okay, so that means, okay, you have to have, it is not only the resources, you have to have the capabilities to convert this resource. And sometimes what happens, the maximum organizations, they having a good resources like this particular core abyss. But the thing is that they don't know, they don't having the, they don't made, they don't have leadership, although they don't know this type of resources is there, and they're unable to convert this particular strength to opportunity. And that is the reason the resource-based view in the 1991, it is one of the major concepts in cases of the strategy and how you will be studying. And another things I should mention here, that's when you are building a strategy, this strategy, it should be a unique and it should be a differentiated. Okay, it should be a unique and it should be a differentiated package. Okay, it should be a differentiated and it should be unique. So that your competitors, it will be difficult for them to copy it. What is going to happen if your competitor is going to copy it? That means a flaws in it, there is a problem in your strategy. So the who is the great strategist? Okay, they will not let the competitors to copy this. So if you are able to copy that, that means there is a problem in your strategy. And another things, as per the Michael Porter, he also talk about the strategy. Okay, it is not that the every strategy is, it is not this everybody has to lose the game or win the game. It is also possible that is the winning situations is also possible in the strategies. Okay, you have seen most probably in cases of the in many cases in the India. So what I'm talking to you, that's the external analysis and the internal analysis you have to do, and then you can make a strategy applications. Now, what is the key concept? The key concept, okay, in cases of the RBV, it's talking about the firm resource include all assets, whether it is a capability, process, firm attributes, informations, knowledge, controlled by the firm, enable firm to conceive of and implement the strategy to improve the efficiency and efficacy. Okay, so all those things is a resource for the organizations. In a language of the traditional strategic analysis, firm resources are the strength and that firm can use to conceive and implement their strategies. Okay, I should give a more emphasis here. The strategy, the resource of the organizations can be divided into three. The first one is the physical resources, as per the Williamsons in 1975. Okay, like you having a plant, you having equipments, geography locations, raw materials, all those things is the physical resources. The second one is the human capital. It is a great asset. It is a great resource for the each and every organizations. This is a great resource for the each and every organizations. Try to understand. Physical resources, you can copy it. Physical resources, buildings, or if you're having a, okay, I having a 2,000 chariots, I also can make a 2,000 chariot if you have the financial resource. If you're having a, okay, I having a 2 lakhs rupees of the 2 lakhs soldiers, okay, I also can build the 2 lakh soldier, but try to understand the human capital is a most essential resources for any organizations. I cannot copy, nobody can copy me, or I cannot copy you. Not possible. Nobody can copy the Krishna. Nobody can. Is it possible? Because it is not possible. It is a unique and it is a totally differentiated. And that is the reason the human capital of the organizations play a very, very important role. A very important role because yeah, it cannot be copied. Every organization, they're having a different leadership. They're having a different, you can say, different people. Their capabilities to convert the convert to a different resource, to different opportunities different. Their training capabilities, decisions at the or the agile they take decisions on a different background. So that is the reason the human capital play very, very important role. And we can see when we will be doing an analysis in cases of the Mahabharata, you will be saying this how the human capital, even in cases of the Sikandi, how it is being used. For the human capitals, each and every individuals they believe that each and every people of the organization can contribute to the organization's visions. They can each and everybody, whether it is you are a general manager of the organizations or you are a simple executive of the organizations, everybody can contribute to the organization's visions. And this organization's visions is a journey. Now, this particular Pandava, they want to win the game. So that is the vision. So everybody, whether it is a Sikandi, you have seen how the Sikandi has been used in cases of the war. Okay, so that is the reason. And not only that, you also have seen how the Sri Krishna play a very, very pivot role in the world. And from this particular topic, particular topic, and the Sri Krishna is a great leader over here. He emerges as a great leader. Obviously, he is a great leader. We can explain the transformation, different type of leadership, whether it is a transformations leadership, because the Arjuna, Arjuna here, and there is too much of example is there for the transformations leadership. So that is the reasons I'm giving a more importance to the human capital or human resource, because it has been used in cases of Mahabharata immensely. It is not only the physical capital resource, it is the human capital resource is also being used in the cases of the Mahabharata. Some of the example, okay, organization's capital resource, like it is talking about the Tomar in 1987. He has given this particular concept, and he talked about the formal and informal planning. Okay, the formal, whether it is the planning, it should be the formal way or it should be informal way. In cases of the your Korab, okay, you have seen it is a only centralized planning. Only centralized planning of it is the planning portions of the 5-6 people. But in cases of the if you analyze the whole game, okay, even each and everybody take parts, so that whether even the woman also has taken part in cases of the planning portions. And it is also, if you analyze more, okay, it is called the empowerment. It is called the empowerment of the women. We can see in cases of the Mahabharata, and it is empowerment of the employee. It has been seen in cases. So we discuss about 3 type of resources. The first one, okay, it is a physical capital resources, okay, which having a plant, equipment, geographical locations, and the materials. But human resource, what I given a more importance, okay, that is the human resource management, training, experience, judgment, intelligence, relationship. Yeah, the relationship also play a very important role. You have seen in cases of the COVID vaccinations how the relationship play important role. In cases of the AstraZeneca and you having Oxford University, you have seen the relationship with Russia, how it is. So relationship, it is a strategic alliances. Okay, relationship, I'm talking about the strategic. If you're having a good relations with the people, you can encase them and you can defeat your competitors. We can say it in cases of Mahabharata also. So the physical resources, human capital resources, and the third one, I'm talking about the capital resources like information, planning, controlling, coordinations. Here, another things we can see in cases of this Pandava, it is a teamwork. It is definitely a teamwork, but in cases of the Korobe, it is not too much of reflected the teamwork. Here, everybody, okay, here everybody in cases of this Pandava, okay, they took a decisions. Okay, what about the Arjun or the Krishna? He'll be giving the giving guidance. So everybody will be over that. So you can see the visions of this particular Pandavas and the teamwork. It was very clear, and it was not only clear, called the crystal clear. That means everything is transparent. Okay, and each and everybody is having a eyes towards the winning of the game. Okay, it is like and this is called the visions of the organizations. And if the vision is there, it will help any team. It will be help any team to winning the game. That is we have seen in cases of the cricket. We have seen in cases of even yesterday we also have seen in the Olympics. If your vision is clear, what a fantastic thing you can create it. Okay, so I was talking about the organizations resources. The Jay Barney, okay, he also talked about. So he talked about the resources is important for all of us. And he also further given a guidance to all of us. That's if your resources, how you'll be getting, with the help of resources, you'll be getting a competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, that means you can win the game. Definitely win the game. What is the guideline? The guideline resources, it should be the first components, whether it is a product or whether it is a service. Suppose that you are offering a product for the organizations, it should, okay, you should select a raw materials which is totally, okay, it should create a value for them, for your customer. The second thing is this particular resource, if it is a rare, that means nobody is using. I am only using. If nobody using Brahmastra, I am using the Brahmastra. It is a rare component for me. I having only the Sri Krishna. Nobody having the Sri Krishna in my work, in the world. So it is a rare component for all of us. So the first one is the V for valuable. The second one is called the rare component. Okay, rare component. Nobody is having that particular component. It's happened in cases of the organizations. I am using a raw materials which is not abundantly available in the society, or it is not abundantly available from the other organizations. So I can create a valuable product. I can create a differentiated product. It's happened in the organizations. The third one is how it is difficult to imitate. Imitate, that means we know the imitations, okay? It will be very difficult, okay? Whether the resources you are using, whether it's having a less imitability component, what is going to happen? If it is a less imitability component is there, your competitors, it will be difficult for them and they'll be not able to copy the things. Okay, I'll be discussing how this particular component is there in cases. And the fourth one is how it is organized. That means you're having a strategy in your mind. You want to win the game. Now here you having a different activities. How this particular different activities are organized inside your organizations or in your troop, so that's anybody, if the competitor is unable to copy it. So fourth thing is very important. If you want win, okay, and this particular this four things, it is given, he has given, the Jay Barney has given the name. It is called VRIO. What is that? The VRIO model is talking about that it should be a valuable resource, it should be valuable. We will be analyzing, when we will be analyzing the Mahabharata, how they have used the valuable components. It should be a rare component. So that means that's okay. It is a very limited resources. The third one is difficult to imitate. I cannot imitate Sri Krishna. Nobody. I cannot imitate I cannot imitate the Arjuna. It is not possible. Not possible at all. I cannot imitate the Brahmastram. I cannot imitate because he is only wearing that. How it is organized. So if you are having this particular four things, what is that? The valuable, rare, difficult, and organized. Then you can get a competitive advantage. Then you can win the game. What is happening if I don't having the valuable? Okay, so that means it is a competitive disadvantage. If you are having a valuable but it is a rare component is missing, then the competitive parity will be there. If you're having a valuable component, rare component, but you don't having that imitable component, then it is the temporary competitive advantage. You'll be getting the valuable, yes, rare, yes, difficult to imitate, or it is not, if your resources is not organized, then That means it is an unused competitive advantage. But what is going to happen if you are using the valuable, if you are using the rare component, if you are using the difficult to imitate, and what is going to happen, how it is organized, then when you are using this particular 4 component, you are definitely win the game. Okay, let's try to understand it from this. Now, in cases of Mahabharata, how they have used this particular model. Now, in cases of, okay, the Kauravas, they believe, okay, the Karna went to the country was military missions to acquire the wealth. He believed that this group of people, they thought this, okay, if you're having a more wealth, you can win the game. But the situation is different. It is not only the wealth creations. It is not only the acquiring the wealth. You have to know this, how you can convert this wealth into how you can, with the help of this particular wealth, how you'll be acquiring the opportunities. Try to understand how the Pandavas, they have done it. Okay, the Arjunas, he set out for a mission to acquire the Dibrastra. Now, Dibrastra, if you're winning the game, you have to have weapons which can create a value to win the game. Okay, and that is the reason he set out for a mission to acquire the Dibrastra. Okay, Bhima, he met Hanumana to enhance the strength, and not only that, Yudhishthira also, the practice that become a defeatable dice practice. So these particular components, it's create a value. It's create a value, making missions for acquiring the Dibbasta, acquiring for the dice, all those things is valuable because weapons play very, very important role. In cases of here also weapons, this particular weapons, you have to be very, very sharp. And okay, and it should be a very, very destructive in nature. So that is the things, it is the valuable. I'll talk to the rare components. Rare components, can you see this particular alliances? How they have used, I was talking about this particular in cases of the vaccinations. Okay, you having alliances like you having AstraZeneca and your Oxford University, how they are doing a miracle, and that is the reason we are saving our life. Okay, we are saving the crores and crores number of people. They are saving life because of particular alliances. Now, in cases of the core, you can see the centralized power center system had far of the relationship. They having a far of relationship. It is not a very cordial relationship with them. Like you having the Sakuni is there, and all those things is the Cambodia, and all those things is there. But try to understand how these Pandavas, they make the alliances, how they use these particular opportunities, and it is a rare component, so you cannot do that. Okay, now you can see the marriage with the Draupadi. Okay, you cannot copy it. It is very, very difficult. You cannot copy. You cannot get a second Draupadi in cases of in this particular situation. Arjuna with Subhadra. Okay, another thing. Sahadeva with Vijaya. Okay, and you have Nakula and Karambani and all those things. Okay, so these particular people, they make this Pandavas, and they make a good alliances. And in cases of the war, they supported them. In cases of the war, they supported them. But in cases of the Kauravas, was there, but wholehearted support, most probably it was not there. So I talk about the valuable components. I talk about the rare components. Okay. Now, less imitability, I don't have in the doubt. I don't have in the doubt when the less imitability completely, nobody can copy. Nobody is near to this particular gentleman, the Krishna. Okay, as for the knowledge, as for the guidance, as for the, you can say the spiritual connections, as for the motivations. He is a great leader on this particular, okay? He emerges as a great leader, and that is the reason the transformations leadership is a branch most probably some of us will be knowing, and is developed from this particular subject. Okay, in this particular war itself, he has shown this what is the meaning of the transformations leadership. Okay, and less imitability, nobody, this Kaurava, they don't have in the Krishna. They don't have in the Krishna. So that's when you are having a person like Sri Krishna, you are winning together. You are definitely you are winning to win the game. Okay, so that is called the less imitability. I should, okay, another thing I should point it here. Managers having a role in the organizations. Managers is less imitable. What I was talking to you, nobody can copy me. If I am I am teaching a subject, nobody, it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult to copy the things. It's like a DNA of the organizations. You know, the DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, nobody can copy it. It's very, very difficult. Otherwise, the people looks like that assemble. Okay, so that is the reasons here. Organizations leadership is play a very, very important role. And if you're having if you are recruited a good leader, definitely this leader will be leading the way. They'll be the example. They'll be leading from the front. So that is the reason less immutability it was there in cases of in cases of this particular war. Okay, I don't think so we don't having the I don't Another thing is also the VRIO, how you organized, how your activities is organized. Your activities, in cases of the core abyss, it is a centralized. It is a centralized. So you have to give a command, then the people will be following it. You are the boss, and you are giving a command, so people will be following it. Now here the wholehearted thing, it will not come. We know in the autocratic leadership what is going to happen. We know very well. That's what if it is you are saying, okay, if somebody is talking to me, Arvinda, you have to come at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you have to go 6 o'clock in the morning. The next day, what is going to happen? We know it because we are the faculty member we know it. How the biological combinations change with us. Okay, so in cases of the in cases of, you can say, centralized. It is not a wholehearted support from the each and every troops member. In cases of the Pandavas, try to understand. Okay, the leadership based on the analysis, based on the resources, based on the understanding. And Arjuna, he is a supreme commander over there, and the Krishna, he is and he is a great counselor also, and that is the reason I put it, the transformations leadership. We have seen how he transformed Arjuna from one stage, emotional stage, to the another emotional stage. We have seen it. And that is the reason, that is the great thing. And this particular things, nobody can copy it. Try to understand. It is happened in the organizations also. You talk any organizations like you having a Starbucks, you having a Southwestern, you having maybe the IKEA, all those companies. If the IKEA, they follow the cost leadership, or think of situations for the Walmart. Can anybody copy the Walmart strategy? I think nobody. It's difficult to copy. It's difficult to copy the Walmart strategy. It's difficult to copy the IKEA strategy. It's difficult to copy the Starbucks strategy, because all the components or the Southeastern strategies, we have seen many organizations to copy. They try to copy the things, and what happened in cases of you having a Continental Airlines. Maybe some of you are knowing this, what happened to Continental. You in India, you know this. What is the fate of the Kingfishers? So strategy cannot be copied. It should not be copied. It cannot be copied. That is the things. In cases of the leadership, how it is organized. So in cases of the Kauravas, in cases of the Pandavas, the leadership, it was a well planned. I can say it was a well planned, and I can say it is a. I was talking to you. That's okay. It should be analyzed properly. That means, what is my resources? Who will be handling the situations? Situations, when you will be handling situation, everything you have to analyze. If you are applying the strategy with wholeheartedly, you are going to lose the game. You are going to lose the game. Nobody can save you on this particular points. So leadership, I was talking to you, that's the 4 points, how it is being applied. This is obviously my view. The valuable components, it is the rare components, as per the Mahabharata is concerned, is the less immutability components, and it is called the organized company, how all the activities is organized. Now what is the learning? What is the learning out of this particular discussion? The learning out of these discussions, that as a organizations, when you are applying the strategy, whether you are a military, you are in an air force, you are a navy, or you are applying your data, you are applying the strategy for your organization, the first and foremost thing is do a analysis of external and internal environments. Not doing that, the result is going to come like though you will be having a more muscle power, you will be having a more resources, but you are going to defeat, because your company, don't assume that your competitor is very, very loose. No, they will grab you at the moment there will be opportunity. They will grab you if you are not doing this particular analysis. So the first things for the manager is do a external and internal analysis. That's the first step for a strategy applications. The second thing is find out what is or are the opportunity in the external environments. You have to find out that's what is the opportunities. Okay, opportunities. Suppose the think of situations you are AstraZeneca. You have to find out this. What is the opportunity? My opportunity is the people in the pandemic situations. Okay, people need a vaccination. That is the opportunity for me. Now the second thing is, okay, how the third point is the find out the resources organizations possess. So if I'm a AstraZeneca, I have to find out whether my is the research team, that means the R&D team, having the capability to come up with the vaccines. Okay, whether they're having the capabilities to come up with the vaccines. Okay, if it is a match, okay, if it is a match, then you can start thinking that's okay, I'll be grabbing this particular opportunity. So third thing is find the resources organizations possess, okay, what the resources, whether it is a supporting your opportunity, and not only that, another thing is very, very important, the structure of the organizations. In cases of the Mahabharata, you have seen is the Kauravas, they are totally centralized. In cases of the Pandavas, you have seen it is a decentralized, totally opposite, and they having a empowerment over theirs, and not only the culture. You have, I don't have to discuss the culture of this particular Kauravas. Okay, what is their mindset and all those things. We don't having the capability to analyze because they are great. Okay, but you can perceive that's what was the mindset over theirs. Okay, so the resources structure of the organizations and the the culture of the organizations also play very, very important role. In cases of the Pandavas, everybody decided whatever Arjuna will be telling, we'll be obeying it. Whatever the command it will be coming from the command it will be coming from the apostle, will be obeying it. Everybody is very, very clear. Okay, so that is the thing. Find out the link between the resources and the capabilities. That means you having the resources, you having the, in cases of the core, they having too much of resources. Nobody can deny. But whether you having a capability to convert it, to encash this particular opportunity, that's also you have to analyze. And if you are analyzing, you have to give the answer, or the answer should be there in your mind. That's who is the persons. We will be converting these opportunities or the resource to capabilities. How he'll be converting, not only how, when he'll be and which particular components of when he'll be converting it. As a leader, it should be there. So that means when you are converting the resources or you are converting this particular capabilities, you should having a thorough understanding of your people. You should have a thorough understanding of your people. As a leader, if you don't have the thorough understanding, maybe the 200 people or 300 people is reporting to you. So you have to have a thorough understanding of the people. It's very, very important. And another things, the fifth point is train your people. You have to train your people, so that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, you have to train your people. Are you able to hear me? I think I am getting some of the noise from the background. Okay. So the fifth
Yes,
point
sir,
is
we are
train your
able to
people is
hear
very,
you.
very important. Okay. So what I'm talking to you in
Yes,
cases of the
but excuse
Arjun.
me, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
could you
please.
just switch on your camera so that we can see you? Thank you.
Just ma'am, I'll take another 2 minutes and okay. I'll switch in, no problem.
Right.
So, okay. So the train of people here, I'll be explaining to you, that's okay. In cases of the Abhimannam, okay, when he was in womb, that's particular time only the Arjuna, he has given a training to understand it. What is the faith? Okay, in the Chakravyuh he is entered, but is unable to come out. That is a different story. But the thing is that when you got the opportunities to train your people as a leader, you have to train the people. Okay, as a leader, this is your prime focus. It is a prime focus. And the sixth one is to get in the competitive advantage, your resources which can create a value. It is a rare, it is less imitable, organized and achieve for the winning strategy. And the seventh one is strategy should be unique and differentiated. It should not be, okay, Arjun having a Brahmastra. Nobody should have, okay, nobody having that. So it is a, yeah, and the way they this particular strategy, it is a totally unique and it is a totally differentiated. It's very, very difficult for the copy the things, okay? So, and other things also, I should, somebody will be, I know after completion of this particular topic, somebody will be talking about, sir, this is obviously it is a fighting between the karma, dharma and adharma. Now, if you want to explain this particular dharma and adharma, from a strategic point of view, you have to know the knowledge-based view. It's talking about the knowledge is everything. The knowledge is everything for all of us. If you're having a more knowledge, you can get a competitive, as simple as that. You get a if you're having a more knowledge about the subject, okay, so you can win this particular game. So it is called the knowledge-based view. And dharma, if you are talking about, I can see that the dharma also having a correlations or the relations. I will not use the correlation, these are relations with this particular. Okay, so this is the things. Okay, what I can explain. Yes, madam, I am done, and definitely I'll be switch on my videos so that everybody can see me. Give me 1 minute so that I can switch on my videos and yeah, turn off camera. Yes, I think I am visible right now to all of you. Yes, am I visible to all of you, please? Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Sir, excuse me. Just stop
Yes.
sharing, and you will be
Okay,
visible.
okay. I
Yeah.
have to stop this presentations. Yes,
You are
stop
visible.
presenting. So that was my view about the particular strategy applications of the resource-based view. Try to understand. I merged two things. Okay, it was a 5,000 years back. This episode has happened, and the Burney, he has given the concept in 1995. You can easily combine this. How difficult it is to combine these two concepts, Mahabharata as the resource-based view. Okay, it took many days time to understand this particular concept, and I can see the many organizations they are using the like you having a IKEA, you having a Starbucks, you having a Southwestern Airlines. Okay, many organizations they are using this particular concept, and they are the winning player in this particular cases. Okay, so I would like to thanks to Dr. Kundu sir for giving me an opportunity, Dr. Kapil sir, Professor Beena, Dr. DP Singh sir, HS Rose sir, for giving this particular opportunity and share my views. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
very
sir.
much, sir. As you have elaborated everything by using different models and by saying that the physical resources, human capital, capital resources, and centralized planning, as well as the teamwork is being required for winning any kind of the game or the competition. By taking not much more time, I invite Professor Harjinder Singh Rose, Pro Vice Chancellor of the university, to share his views on this topic. If any kind of the query or the question from the audience, we just share with you, sir. Please, Professor Harjinder Singh Rose.
Am I audible?
Yeah, sir. Welcome.
Well, you see, it is a very interesting talk given by Dr. Pandari. And what I could gather is that it is, being a science student, it is all SWOT analysis. That is S for strength, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. So normally you see, now this is something which is new to me, but normally when we have been talking about anything, we used to say that Americans, they do first this SWOT analysis. That is, they judge their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. So it is something you see very interesting to note that this SWOT analysis that comes from Mahabharata story, and there this analysis that was used. Otherwise, as far as you see this war is concerned, the different types of weapons and the duration and the number of people, that is 14 lakh people, they lost their lives. You see, it is something very, very, you see, surprising that how you see these people, they
सर
went on
आवाज नहीं आ
fighting.
रही कुंडू सर
नहीं आ रही?
सर सभी को
Are you
सुनाई दे
listening?
रही है आपका आपका माइक में या कोई दिक्कत हो सकती है सर एवरीथिंग इज ऑडिबल टू एवरीवन रोज
आवाज आ
सर
रही है आ रही है
यस
So it is something you see which J. Barney, he has, you see, proposed this SWOT analysis on the basis of the study that relates to Mahabharata. And of course, you see what I liked most was that was the 14 ethical conduct of war. That was, you see, sunrise, sunset, 1 to 1, and anyone who is not having a weapon. So I think these are some points which they give light of the times, you see, when the ethics they were taken care of. Now comparing, you see, this Mahabharata war with the today's war, I think some army officers, you see, he can correlate it better in a way. Of course, SWOT analysis for all the things, not only for war, but even if you have to start a college, school, university, factory, or anything, SWOT analysis, you see, that is just a common SWOT, SWOT. That is, you see, something which everyone should do. Even you see, if you are a PhD student, SWOT analysis, that is there always. So I think as far as you see this war concept is concerned and how to correlate the modern war systems and the modern weapons of war and you see the ethical rules because you see sunrise, sunset. Now, in fact, we if you look at the Afghanistan war, the Americans, you see how they are working. There is no concept of such ethics which were there at the time of Mahabharata. So even you see, as far as you see 1 to 1 fight is concerned, that is not there. If you don't have a weapon, you are not taken care of. So as far as the ethics is concerned, I think someone more you see brilliant and learned you see about on this topic and throw a better light than me. But I have liked this topic very much. It is a something you see which is knowledge giving, and I especially thank Dr. Kundu that who is putting in a lot of you see efforts, and I feel you see I am a student who is you see getting knowledge about these things at this stage of life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You have elaborated each and everything in some sort of the lines, and between the lines, you have stated that what we have to lead in our life. From the army, we have two speakers, General Amarjit Singh, General S.S. Nair. I invite General Amarjit Singh, please unmute your mic, sir, so that you can give a glance on and try to conclude the topic within 5 minutes, sir. General Amarjit.
Okay. Good evening. Am I audible, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. My compliments to the speaker. It was an outstanding talk on resource management and the art of war. My subject is also trying to find out the Indian way of war fighting. But in the end, when you see that how the professor has described the... आवाज नहीं आ रही?
Not audible, sir.
Audible, sir, audible.
I'm sorry, is it audible to us? Dr.
Yeah.
Rose, can
Okay.
you sir?
It's audible.
Okay, audible.
It's audible.
Audible.
Okay.
It's audible. It's audible.
So what I want to say that in the end, like Dr. Rose pointed out, that we take the Mahabharata and the war in the Mahabharata and we tend to analyze it with a Western perspective. A SWOT analysis is very much a Western ideology. So what we are trying to do is again, mix up an ideology which is very unique to us. And again, we tend to analyze it from the Western perspective. I wish we could take out a new perception of what it is rather than put something which is already organized in the management world, like SWOT analysis is a very much good theory, but it is a Western perspective. What I want to bring out is that how did the Pandavas defeat the Kauravas when the Kauravas were nearly double their size? What was the strategy and how did they win? Which you have tried to bring out. What was the theme behind it? See, there is what we term today, there are two factors when we consider resources and the capabilities. One we call it the tangible characters. You spoke about it, the firm, the human, these are tangible. They are countable, and they are all additive in nature. They add to your capacity. Then we talk of something which is intangible. Which is intangible. You cannot evaluate it like so many chariots. When I say 10 chariots, I know there are 10 chariots. Right? So 10 chariots will be equal to 10 chariots. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 10. But if I say leadership, now how do I quantify leadership? So leadership is very, very different. It is intangible. Now in the Pandavas, you had the leadership of Arjuna, who was so ably counseled by Krishna. I mean, that is a winning combination. That means the thing what we got to have is that we got to have a strong leader. But that strong leader must be backed by a very strong counsel. The trouble is, we talk of leadership and we do not talk about the counsel. Arjuna was backed by Krishna. Krishna himself was not fighting. Krishna was not leading. Krishna was only counseling Arjuna. So if we take out this combination of a leader and a counsel to him, when you have a strong, it is an unbeatable concept. I don't know whether we can develop this concept that a leader by itself is strong, but if that leader has a strong counsel behind him, he becomes unbeatable. Correct? The next thing which you have talked about is leadership. You talked about distributed leadership and concept. I think it's the other way around. In the Pandavas, you had a single leader. Arjun was the leader. I mean, there's no two other leaders you can say who fought the battle. But on the Kaurav side, it was distributed. There are 4 or 5 of these people, Bhishma, Karna, they were fighting separate. It was not as one leader. Whereas in the Pandava side, you had Arjuna. Arjuna was the leader, and everyone accepted Arjuna as the leader. So here, I mean, a single leader is always better in war. You don't have 3 or 4 voices coming out from various places. So in case of Pandavas, single leadership with a strong counsel. That is what it was a winning factor in this. Then what are the intangibles? Intangibles are, of course, morale. Morale, and there is one more factor which we call as the moral war. Who between the two was fighting the moral war? Moral war means who was justified to fight the war. Today, when we read the whole Mahabharata, we come out to saying that one side was justified to fight, one side was not justified to fight. So the moral condition to fight was with one army. And because of that moral condition, that gives the backing of the people. The people will back you in that war. But if you don't have the moral right to fight, or your fight is unjustified, then the people do not support your war. So therefore, in this case, Arjun and Krishna, in my view, they were on the moral side and they were justified to fight the war. Therefore, the rest of the people were supporting Arjuna. And in today's world, if you have the population behind you, behind the army, it becomes the army's morale goes up. Correct? So that is what the second point in the Kaurav Pandavas war, which I wanted to bring out. So it is the moral or the justified war. On whose side was the morals? I mean, if the morals are on one side, then the people will tend to follow the justified war. So that is what I wanted to talk about this thing. Okay, your Viro model was very good. I've seen it for the first time, so I'll study more about it. I'll study more about it because I don't know much about it, but it struck a chord. I'll talk about it more. Then we were talking of environmental analysis. At a long time when I was in College of Combat, we talked of environmental analysis, external and internal. And we got into a lot of debate is how do you define what is external environment as what is internal environment? And in the end, we came to the conclusion that the external environment is the environment you cannot control. That is you cannot control. Say like you're in business and there is a government law that you have to pay 10% tax. You can't do anything about it. You can't influence the government to change that. That is the external environment. You cannot control it. Like America makes a policy in Afghanistan. You have got no control of it. So everything that is outside, which is not controllable by you, correct? That is external environment. And what is internal environment? Internal environment is something you can control. If I give an order, it will be done. In your organization, that is your internal environment. So something which you can control becomes an internal environment. Something which you cannot control becomes the external environment. And then there is a slight overlap between the two, which we term as the peripheral environment. In this peripheral environment, you have a certain influence. You can influence things, but you cannot direct things like what you can do in the internal listing. Correct? So you can influence. Influence. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. When you do environmental analysis, correct? So yes, they talked about the ethics of war. You listed a lot of ethics of war, but I don't think in the present day war, not even a single of those is what is followed today. Yes, war today has become very, very unethical. I mean, war is not fought in that manner any longer. So I don't know how we can extend those ethics to today, because none of them, if you follow them, you'll be the first casualty in war. That is what it is. That if you get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, come ready and come there, no, I'm sorry, he will shoot you at 4 o'clock in the morning. So how do we take those ethics today is a very different thing. We cannot force it because the enemy is not following it. So I wonder how those ethics can be taken today. See, that's all I wanted to talk to you about. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
I have a question.
sir.
I had a question. You see, whether you see this creation of Bangladesh was ethical on the part of India. If we look into the Mahabharata concept, karma, dharma, consequences, was the creation of Bangladesh was ethical on the Indian part?
Sir, if you talk of, yes, sir, I'll just say, if you talk of human suffering and the human values, I would say that this war was ethical. Why? Because the amount of suffering that people were undergoing, and they had appealed to the world to help them. It is not that we went in because we went in. It was not like America went into Afghanistan. It was very different from America going into Afghanistan, like India going into Bangladesh. Going into Bangladesh, we were more or less called in by the people of Bangladesh to help them out. No, yes, the government didn't call us. But what happened was that the majority of the people, or the government in exile which they have formed under Mujibur Rahman, which had the larger following, they appealed to us to help them out. So if you talk of human sufferings and you talk of people's independence and the atrocities which is known, what West Pakistan had done, I think this war was justified. And if it wasn't justified, the 7th Fleet would have been in Dhaka much before we reached Dhaka, if it was unjustified. The United States delayed moving the 7th Fleet into the Bay of Bengal because they believed that this war is justified and the consequences of this war should happen. So it was justified. Therefore, they delayed it. And once Dhaka fell, they brought in the Seventh Fleet to say, okay, now enough is enough, stop. So that was a signal for us that now we got to stop. So the world believed that it was justified. Therefore, no one interfered in this battle. Otherwise, otherwise China would have come in if they didn't think that it was justified. I don't know. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking this very much controversial query in in an ethical manner and amicable way. You have resolved this issue. Now, I invite Professor B.B. Goyal, University Business School, Chandigarh, to give his views on this topic which is going on. Being a professor of this subject, I invite Professor B.B. Goyal, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dear distinguished panelists, Professor Kundu, and all the others, I will not take much time repeating the names who are present on the dais. And because this is basically a topic which is relating to strategic management, and 2-3 things that again I will have to repeat because most of the all the 3 speakers before me, they have spoken about this. The one line with which I would like to start maybe something altogether different. Like we say that greatest strategy of war is not to have war. War is held for a cause. So cause should be genuine, cause should be very appropriate, cause should be you can say so much compelling that we should take this extreme step. But anyhow, you know that the various factors that all strategy management or for all strategy we have to apply. Group is one, and then is you can say motivation, decision making, SWOT analysis, of course, commitment, teamwork, all these factors. So from the conclusion, what we have read, what we have known, what we have listened in the various you can say ways, reading this epics, going through the books, and also from the lecture delivered by Dr. What was the name? I'm sorry forgetting. And then Dr. HS and yeah, so Arvinda Bandari, right? So the 2 teams, they fought by they fought, right? So this was the war, but what strategies, what resources, allocation of resources, then is the distribution of power, then is application of mind, application of analysis, whatever they had applied, this is what the analysis we need to do about how strategically these 2 sides they had fought this war. But one thing, when we talk about team has a common objective, and team is a group of people who get together for the accomplishment of some common objective. Though in this case, there was one common objective that they have to win the war against the other, Kauravas and the Pandavas. But if you go deeper, the Kauravas team was not uniformly thinking about what for they are fighting. Pandavas are fighting for their self-respect. That is where they were found to be more united. So, meaning thereby that whenever any work has to be accomplished with the minimum of the loss, maximum of the benefits will come only if all members of the team who have been assigned the responsibility to accomplish a particular or complete a particular task or accomplish a particular goal, they must be united in the goal, in the thinking, in the ideology, what they have to do. But here, the main parties or main leaders in case of the Kauravas, they had different goals. Largely, they were having different ideology, but on the surface it was appearing as if they are having a common goal. So this is what we need to analyze here. So the two is that हिंदी पंजाबी में कहते हैं अकल बड़ी के भैंस. So something like this. So the Kauravas, they thought of that the numbers, the large number of people, they have taken all the and the Pandavas, they have chosen the Krishna, and his all soldiers were taken by the Kauravas. But you see that any number of resources we can get together, but ultimately human resource accounting or human resource, human is a resource. The value of the human, it is not 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. It is maybe 2 plus 2. It is not an additive identity, it is a multiple identity, meaning thereby that the type of strategy, the type of thinking, the type of you can say more of a strategy is reaction, many times a reaction to the action of the party. How you have to react to a particular situation which altogether arrives at a particular situation. Now who is to take decision? The one who is having brainy mind. So the allies also, the parties that they are with you, that also need to be taken care of. And in case of motivations always act as catalysts in achieving the company's mission, vision, goal, objectives. Now you see here in case of Kauravas, their CEO was, or in a way we can say CEO, he was motivated by greed for the Indraprastha. He was ready to apply any means, whether fair or unfair, to achieve. And when something we know that we are doing something unfair, our internal urge, our internal strength does not support our action. But if something, you will get lot of energy, you will get lot of ideas, you will get lot of thoughts if you are really doing something which is you can say fair, which is not for greed, which is for good cause. And there are so many stories that we cannot discuss, but one thing, like we say the three words, something should be true, something should be unique, something should be beneficial, and something should be you can say useful. So something should be, whatever action we take, it should be true, it should be useful, it should be beneficial. But here everyone, at least 2-3 parties to the Kauravas, they were having their divided intention or vision or mission or objective, or the action were also divided. And when the team does not work as a, or is not fully motivated to achieve a particular direction, and unidirectional if you are not, you cannot have that much of. So decision making, timely, appropriately, accurately decision making. So when it is decision making, now we say it is teamwork, but there should be much of the power which should be given to the CEO or the top management, or people should believe in that. But if the top management takes a decision and others are not believing, they would not act accordingly, because they are not feeling as if the decision the boss or the CEO or the commander is given, that is appropriate. And when you see the force in forces, it is not that there is a lot of you can say about this, but the thing is here we find from the whatever literature we have come across, that they were also not unified on who is to take decision in case of the Kauravas, but in case of the Pandavas, there was no such problem. So then is the art of taking a decision. There they were lacking. Here in the Pandavas, there was not much of a problem. One should grab the opportunity at the right time to gain advantage over the competitors. So here it was not. They were not taking the Kauravas were not able to grab the opportunity at the right time. Even we say that a click here or there makes a lot of difference. Similarly, a fraction of a second in war, making delaying would make or mar the war altogether. So for the Kauravas to take good decisions, uh, for taking good decisions anyhow, one need to have great level of concentration, and that was that the literature shows, whatever evidence we have, that shows that they were not having that much of a consideration, and they were having low level of anxiety and whatever it was. But in case of Pandavas, there was not such a problems. So this is another issue, that and you know that Pandavas, they choose Krishna, and uh, this is another, because they knew that he will be the most successful strategist, advisor, and um, Amarjit Singh ji was talking about the advice, or whatever we call it. And in management, you know that it is not the CEO of the company who is considered to be taking the best decisions. He employs some what we call it advisors at a much higher salary than even the chief manager of the company, many a times, because he is considered to be most brainy person who can take the company to the greater and greater heights by advising at appropriate times about the appropriate situations and what they need to do. They need to do according to the change in the situations. I just take 1 minute and talking about a case study. There was, within 1 minute, there was a company, it was doing very good, and after 25 years, company started doing very bad. The management of the owner of the team or management was very much worried. They employed some consultant, and the consultant did a very large scale of survey, interviewing all the employees and others, going through the records, and ultimately the day of decision, submitting the report came, and there was a big function, and they came, the 2-3 people who were in the in the group of making this study. They came, and they were all empty handed. The management was thinking that they will bring maybe a suitcase full of the report, because they were spent so much time, money and energy, and they only submitted a slip of 3 words. What was the 3 words? Change your CEO. Change your CEO. What it means? That basically who was taking decision when the time was according to the thinking, the ideology, the brain that he was applying when the company had started was quite right for him. But over the period, the competition changed, policy changed, external environmental changed, but he did not think, he did not change anything in his mental abilities or his thought process. So now, because his thinking and the present situation of the environmental analysis that do not match, that is why the it was advised by the research team that the company need to change the CEO. Only then the company can revive and come to the past glory, right? So what analysis here is that the Kauravas, they converted their strength into weakness rather. How they did it, they used to indulge in war with the other kingdom, which caused both loss and men, because there was not a very genuine cause for them. And Pandavas, they utilized their exile period when they were in the exiles by learning about how to fight war, and to how to use various weapons and all this. They converted their weakness into strength, and they utilized their time. But Kauravas, they did not utilize their time. And then the commitment, of course, uh, 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 the commitment was, anything we do, we should do with the fullest commitment. And there was a lack of commitment also, lack of teamwork also. This is so to uh, the two teams, they differed, because everything has been discussed. But I would like to just say that the two teams differed in so many ways, and that is why the Pandavas was successful. They have to lose the war. The Kauravas have to lose the war. So this is what I could like to contribute, because almost everything, the 3 experts, well known, very well versed versions they have given. So I would that is why I have preferred to give only the briefest possible version, constraints of time with me also, with others also, and with this I withdraw, and thank you very much. But still, if anyone would like to ask any question, I have lot of literature before me. From there, by reading, I can reply. Professor Kundu.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. As you have elaborated that cause must be there, and the cause must be having the benefit to the human being, so that we can take any kind of the lead, being the competitor in any kind of the field. With these words, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjay Behel, who is willing to speak. He has sent a message in the chat box. Dr. Sanjay Behel, please, all of you are my seniors, and I request you all, you have to conclude your thoughts within 5 minutes, because of there is a time constant and we have to respect the time. Dr. Sanjay Behel, please.
Sir, good evening, everyone. All are my elders, and now it is, I think, 5:37. So I will just take up till 45, not more than 45, 5:45. I just have, it was a wonderful talk by Arvindo sir. And General Saab has also, categorically taken that the war, the earlier wars and today war, what I believe the war is the same. Even the ethics which we are talking about, we have seen a lot of ethics being, washed away in Mahabharata with the respect to Draupadi, and how the Abhimanyu was, crushed in the Chakravyuh. So this is all unethical, but yes, people call it as a strategy. And second thing, the sacrifice. You see how the Pandavas sacrificed, and but at the end of the day, it is the ethics, it is the good work which comes into the people's life. As both the sides, we see the examples like the friendship between Karan and Duryodhan was wonderful, and both they were very good warriors, and even the battery of warriors like Bhisham Pitama, like Kripacharya, like Dronacharya. So all these people were very good strategists and very good minds, but only thing is they were not ethical. That is why they lost. 2-3 times, in Mahabharata, which are very crucial. Even the Krishna, played uh, the wrath of the ethics, because as everybody knows, the Jayadratha was cordoned off by Kauravas, that because Arjuna took the pledge that if I will not kill Jayadratha by the end of the day, I will die myself. But then it was Krishna who put the Sudarshan Chakra on the sun, and it was dark, and the Jayadratha came up, and then it was Krishna only who removed the Sudarshana from the sun and said, "You kill the Jayadratha." So ethics are okay, but ethics will only there till the time the correctness or the correctness will be justified. The moment the correctness in the society will be crucified, nothing is nothing can be justified, and nothing is ethical. Even when in the Mahabharata, because Krishna told that I will not lift any weapon, and Kripacharya said that it I will let Krishna take on the weapon. And at one time Krishna took the when Kripacharya he tried to destroy the wrath of Krishna. So that destroyed wheel, Krishna took and went towards Kripacharya to kill him. So mean, great ethics, things have been taking along with, and it's a full. It is how we justify, and it's a very difficult to say that either Kaur was lost, agreed, but the one man Shakuni, who just rotated everybody, even Dronacharya, even Duryodhan, even Bhisham Pitame. So he just grilled everybody, and even invited Yudhishthir for the chopper or the that in which they lost. So ethics is a very, very grave subject. Is a very, at one time in Maharashtra, in the Mahabharata, when Karna chariot broke down, and Arjuna stopped, hurting him with the arrows. And he stopped it. He said, "Let him recover." And it was Krishna who told, "What are you waiting for? You hit him with the arrow and kill him. This is the right moment." And it was Krishna who took the kavacha from Karna. So all these things are, Krishna was the mastermind of the strategist, and for him ethics was only to justify the correctness, nothing less. It's 18 days are full of events. 18 days are full of going into the annals of history with the ethics, and a wonderful epic. And we can keep on discussing more and more. And I'm thankful to Kundu Saab for 5 minutes. Thank you. If anyone has questions, I am ready for that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As you have elaborated in a brief all kind of the events that has happened in case of Mahabharata. Now, any of the query from the audience, I invite all of you. Before the vote of thanks by Dr. Rajendra Kapil, if any query is available with you, you can put up in the chat box.
On kya?
And one more moment, BG Matthew is with us. He is willing to share some views. BG Matthew, please unmute. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. In fact, it was a very educative lecture by Dr. Bhandari. In fact, he's covered a lot of ground in terms of leadership and resources. And I'm also thankful to General Amarjit, my senior and guru. His comments were also very, very useful. Couple of points I would like to quickly make before it is too late. One is anybody who doesn't learn from history is destined to repeat history. So this is one important aspect. Accordingly, we have been carrying out analysis of a lot of battles and learning a lot of the strategy and tactics which are used in various battles. This is part of military history. Now, one of the important aspects of learning from the Mahabharata is to see what new can come out. Now, I personally feel that anything which is written in verse form and not in prose form, is interpreted in different manners. So, what Dr. Bhandari explained today is the actual way how it happened in Mahabharata, what are the aspects of strategy, and how it is related to today's strategy. Well, we know that today also all these things are there. There are different leadership styles. We know of resources. Resources means material, the quality and quantity. And also of human resources, quantity and also quality. When you say quality, training, leadership, everything comes in that. So when you say, even if you say there is one Rath here and one Rath there, today when we compare our forces with any other force, we see the capability of that Rath also. So that is also important. So that is what he said is absolutely true. But we want to see, like what General Amarjit brought out, how can we reinterpret the whole thing to learn more from the Mahabharata? Our whole study, Indology and Vedic management is not to see what is already existing today in terms of management or strategy, but how much more can we learn from our own Vedas, our own epics. So that is one important aspect I wanted to bring out. Second is, we have seen in history, there are many cases, whether it is defensive operations or offensive operations, where a smaller force has actually overcome a larger force. It is quite normal. It is not very uncommon. So to say that with 11 armies, Kauravas lost to Pandavas 7 armies, nothing. It is not really too much. You can actually, what he's brought out, Dr. Bhandari, about the leadership qualities and the counseling of Krishna and all is very important. That is how they have been able to overcome. So it is quite common in so many battles, whether it is offensive or defensive, where it has happened. And the third thing I would like to bring out is about the, the ethical war, the various 14 rules which he had brought out about ethics in the war. It is not that today we don't have ethics in war. I totally disagree with that aspect, because in today's world, with the our UN and all that, we have the international humanitarian law and various conventions which is trying to bring ethics into battle, whether it is in the way of use of mines, whether it is in the way of use of weapons, whether it is the use of chemical weapons, biological weapons. There are various conventions across the world and the international humanitarian law which are meant to be equivalent to the ethics of Mahabharata. So I had just these 3 points. So when we learn more about the Vedic management and about the epics in our own culture, it is important that how best we can interpret that, to derive more from it, from what is already existing today. Thank you very much, and all the speakers, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Kapil sir, thank you very much. And Kundu sir, thank you.
Thank you, BG Mathuji. General SS Nair, can you hear us? SS Nair, please. Hope he is not with us. Okay, everyone has elaborated a lot on this aspect. Without taking much more time, I invite Dr. Rajendra Singh Kapil to say a word of thanks, as well as Professor Beena Obrai with us. Madam, if you are willing to speak one or two lines, Professor Beena Obrai, if you are willing to add much more in this webinar, you are welcome.
Thank you, Professor Kundu. It was very enlightening, and this is so much of information which is really very interesting and intriguing also, to analyze the way the war was constructed, and take the strategies and using the same strategies into organizations, and wherever in our place of work, using the same thing. And as the army officers have mentioned, that the same strategies and ethical warfare need to be put in place nowadays, because as General Amarjit said, that there's nothing ethical in war now. But I feel that we all need to get that back again into the world. War must be fought ethically, otherwise it's just it's madness. Otherwise it's madness for humanity. Thank you, Kundu sir. That's all I can say today.
Thank you, madam. Dr. Rajendra Kapil, please.
Can I say one thing, just one line, please?
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
I just learned this today in the morning. We were suddenly started talking about ethics, and in the morning this came. He says goodness is not debatable.
Yeah.
It is the perception of ethics that is debatable.
Yeah.
So in the context of war, if you take this, goodness is not debatable. Goodness is goodness. But the perception of ethics or the perception of goodness is debatable. That is what we discussed in the morning regarding what this is. So what we are discussing in warfare is the perception of goodness. We are perceiving it differently. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, Dr. Rajendra Kapil, please, so that we have to complete this webinar well in time. Dr. Rajendra Kapil, unmute your mic.
Sir.
Yeah, well, audible.
Sir, one point I want to mention here, that in Karachi University, in Karachi University, there happened to be a professor. He has written Mahabharata, and he has written 6 volumes of Mahabharata. And those books are available with Hoshiarpur Indological Library. anybody wants to take the benefit of those books to know much more about Mahabharata, that those books can be consulted. In the meanwhile, the speakers here, we know that all are leading professionals, all are specialists in their own fields. But the discussion on the Mahabharata, when we are talking about that ethical, whether it is ethical or it's not ethical, I want to bring a point here that in Hindu Shastras there are six Shastras. There are six Shastras, and one of them is Nyaya. Nyaya Shastra, and then when there is a Nyaya, then there is a Yoga, then there is a Vedanta, and then there is a this one कपिल का कौन सा था? Sankhya Shastra. These six Shastras also their knowledge was taken into consideration while Mahabharata was fought. It was not fought between two enemies. They were not enemies. महाभारता में कोई कोई कौरव और जो पांडव थे वो कोई दुश्मन नहीं थे. बट इट वाज एन एक आइडिया जो था उसके ऊपर ये वार लड़ी गई थी. और उसमें जो जितने शास्त्र हैं हमारे, उन शास्त्रों का न्याय वर्सेस वेदांता वर्सेस न्याय, ये जो इसके बारे में जब बनाया गया था, जो आप देखते हो कि चक्रव्यूह बनाया गया. ये चक्रव्यूह क्या था? चक्रव्यूह वाज ए knowledge of science which was put in such a manner that when there is ethics, then nyaya will come. He said no, it's not ethics. So likewise to maintain the ethical approach. But now the amendments which the people are going to bring them, by and large, this is not ethical. When a thing has been made and then you keep on amending it of your own requirements, that is not ethical. So ethical approach will always remain there, but only thing is the people, they should understand how ethical has to be put to action. That is the problem. और कोई बाकी अगर हम आज का युद्ध भी देखें, जब हमारे स्टार वार होंगे tomorrow, today we are talking about only nuclear war, I am talking about the star war. जब आपका जो युद्ध है वो चंद्रमा के ऊपर जाके आप जब लड़ेंगे, दूसरे देश वहां जाएंगे, उस टाइम पे आप बताइए कि अगर एथिकल नहीं होगी अप्रोच तो आप कैसे लड़ पाएंगे? It's a very vast subject on ethical. We have to take certain steps, and we have to make a concerted effort that ethical approach is always put on the best foot of things, and try to do the things ethically. It's not that we can say just please, but we have to put ethical into the practice. Practical Vedanta is always practical, so ethical is also practical. So only thing is, in this practical world we have to find the ways and means how to exercise those things in the present environment. Anyway, I'm not taking much of time. I'm thankful to all the speakers, but another form will invite all the scholars to discuss something about the ethical approach in the present environment. So I thank all the generals, and General Nair has not come, and General Nair, he told me that I'm coming on somewhere, on the way, and I'll reach by 4 o'clock. But he was somewhere outside. But next time we'll see that Dr. General Nair is also with us. So in the meantime, I appreciate Dr. Rose, Dr. B.B. Goyal, Dr. Bhandari sir, Dr. Major General Matthews, and even in this line, General Brigadier Dekuna, he was also there, and his family, his madam has also joined us. I thank all of them, and I thank you all the present members and Dr. No, Dr. Veena Roy, although she was busy on somewhere else, but she has got the time. And we were thinking that if she's not there, then who will bridge the gap? Bridge the gap. Thank you very much, Dr. Veena. Thank you, Dr. Kundu sir. Dr. Kundu sir has always been with us and guiding us on very points wherever we have a difficulty. I tell Dr. Kundu sir, ये आपका फील्ड है, बाबा आगे से आगे आप ही देखना. So, so thank you very much, sir. बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है. Thank you.
You all leave this please, so that we can close.